Night shift doesn't scare you at first. Not the darkness, not the silence, not even the emptiness. It's the way the world feels. Unwatched. Like you're the only person still awake, and everyone else is sleeping behind locked doors, believing nothing bad can reach them. But some people love places like that. Some people look for the hours where no one is paying attention, where the lights are on and the rules feel softer, where you can stand in a blind spot and exist for a long time without being seen. And that's what these two stories have in common. Two different nights, two different buildings, two different workers, but the same feeling that something was already there, waiting. I worked overnights at a 24-hour gas station. I was 22, new job, new routine, the kind of shift that usually melts into itself. Mop the floor, wipe the counters, restock, wait. Most nights were quiet in a harmless way, until one night around 2:30 a.m., my coworker Max walked in with a friend. They were laughing too loud, talking too fast, the kind of energy that makes the store feel less empty. Then his friend Ben said something simple. "There's a car outside," and I remember the exact way my body reacted. Not panic, not fear, just that cold little tightening in the stomach, like a warning light flickering on. Ben said it was parked with the lights off, engine running, someone inside. At first I tried to be normal about it, because people sit in their cars all the time. DoorDash drivers, lost travelers, someone on a call. But Ben said the guy told him he was waiting on an order. And that's when the quiet turned sharp, because we hadn't gotten an order in almost 2 hours. I'd been cleaning in the back most of the night, away from the windows, away from the front, which meant that car could have been out there the whole time, and I would have never known. Max and Ben went outside to smoke and play with Max's dog, and later, Max told me the detail that changed everything. The man in the car kept switching between staring at them and staring at the store. Watching the dog, watching the doors, watching the lot. Ben, high and fearless, walked up and asked why he was watching them. The man pretended he didn't speak English, just for a second. Then he switched to English, like a mask snapping into place, and said, "Wrong address," and drove off fast. But Max had noticed something else. The car looked brand new, and it had no license plate. And in the back seat, a pile of blankets, thick enough to hide a person. Then another car pulled into the lot, also new, also lights off, also no plates. And the moment the first car left, the second car followed, like a shadow following a body. For the rest of my shift, I tried to convince myself it was nothing. But the worst part wasn't what I saw, it was what I didn't see. The blind spot. The place the windows didn't reach. The part of the lot the register couldn't watch. Because if someone wants to wait for you, they don't park where you can see them. They park where you'll assume the world is empty. I wish the story ended there. The next night, around 3 a.m., I was mopping when 4 men walked in for coffee. Normal customers, normal voices. One of them looked at me and asked, "Do you know anything about that car out there?" My heart dropped. He described it. Brand new, no plates, lights off, engine running. But this time, he said there were 2 guys in the front seats, arguing. And when the group walked past the car toward the store, they heard one of them talking loud, pointing at the doors, like the store was a map, like the entrance mattered. One of the men started walking toward the Subaru to check on them, and the second the guys inside realized they'd been noticed, they reversed hard and drove away. The group offered to stay with me, just for a little, just in case. They stood there with their coffees, talking softly, keeping the air warm. And when they finally left, the store felt twice as empty as before. Nothing happened after that. But that doesn't mean nothing was planned. Because now it wasn't paranoia. It was pattern. 2 nights in a row. Same time. Same spot. Same car. Always just far enough away that the building itself could protect them. Different job, different place. A small rural motel, 2 floors, family-owned, quiet enough that you can hear the building settle. I worked the overnight shift, and on nights like that, sound becomes its own kind of creature. The ticking clock, the hum of the fridge, the soft buzz of lights, and the bell at the front desk. A simple little bell meant to call for help. That night, around 2 a.m., the bell rang. I walked out to the lobby. No one, no footsteps, no car outside. Nothing. I told myself it was a glitch, a loose spring, a weird vibration. 10 minutes later, it rang again. Still no one. By the 3rd time, my mind was done being kind. So I sat behind the desk, facing the bell, waiting. The lobby lights were dim. The air felt stale. Every creak sounded intentional. Minutes passed. 15. 20. My eyelids got heavy. And just as my body started to relax, the bell rang again. Only this time, I saw it. A pale hand rose slowly from under the desk, like something emerging from water, and pressed the bell. Calm. Gentle. As if whoever it belonged to had all the time in the world. My body moved before my thoughts did. I jumped so fast the chair tipped, and I ran. I slammed the back office door, locked it, stood there in the dark with my heart trying to break out of my ribs, because now the truth had a shape. Someone had been hiding under that desk, close enough to touch the bell, while I was only a few feet away. And they'd waited. I forced myself to look at the security monitor. The lobby camera showed movement, a head rising, the outline of a person in the corner of the frame. I couldn't see the face clearly, but I could see the way it turned toward the camera, like it knew it was being watched, like it didn't care. I called 911, whispering. My voice sounded wrong in my own ears. On the monitor, the person crawled out slowly, stood up, and started pacing. Not frantic, not confused. Pacing like someone who has a plan, and is checking the room for where the plan ends. Then the figure walked toward the hallway, toward the locked door. My door. A moment later, the knob rattled. Once. Slowly. Not like rage, like curiosity, like a hand testing a cage. The dispatcher kept asking if I was safe. I couldn't answer at first. My throat had tightened into a knot. I stood there with my back against the door, listening for footsteps, trying to imagine what kind of person hides under a desk for that long. What kind of person thinks that's normal? And then, finally, flashing red and blue lights hit the windows. 2 police cars. On the camera, the figure bolted out of frame. The officers searched the building and found a large rock near the front entrance, like someone had propped the door open earlier. But the person? Gone. They slipped out at the last second, like smoke through a crack. That's the thing about night shift. Most nights are empty. But sometimes, empty is just what it looks like from your side of the counter. Sometimes there's a car with no plates sitting where you can't see. Sometimes there's a hand under the desk, waiting for the moment you're tired enough to stop expecting it. And the worst part isn't what happened. It's what almost happened. What you'll never be able to prove. What your body understood before your mind did. So if you work nights, or you've ever been alone in a bright building surrounded by darkness, trust the feeling. Because fear isn't always panic. Sometimes fear is a quiet voice that says, something is here, and it's been here longer than you think.